Oh, it is finally the day they're updating the Blood Fury. I've been waiting for this for a few weeks. It actually passed the poll like 3 weeks ago, and some of the other stuff that was on the same poll has already come into the game. But for some reason they left this for a couple of weeks, but that is fine. Finally going live today. I bought myself all these shards. I initially bought them for like 8 mil, sold them at 12.5, all of them. I'd got in perfect time before they crashed the first time, because loads of people bought them and then they didn't come in that first week's update, so they went down in price again. And then the same thing happened last update week. They went up in price just before the update, didn't come into the game, went back down. I've been flipping these for the past few weeks and already made probably 100 mil on them. But today is going to be the actual live update and we'll probably make bank on them. But where I'm really going to make money is using this Amulet of Blood Fury at the Nightmare of Ashiyama. It's going to be crazy. This thing heals 6% of your damage. I've been using it for weeks at 1%, and 6% is just going to be pretty insane. So yeah, we're going to be testing this out at all the bosses as soon as the update goes live. And this is probably going to be the most game-changing update in old school RuneScape in the past few months. With this here, you can kill any high-level boss that you use melee on with very, like, how would you describe it? It's just going to be very easy. It's not going to be punishing if you make mistakes. Theatre of Blood on Verzik. Say you like mess up and take a bit of damage, you can just heal up over the next few hits, so you'll never be sitting on low HP. It makes Theatre of Blood pretty easy. It'll be pretty good on Alm in raids. It's really, really good at the Nightmare of Ashiyama. You can use it at Vorkaf, anything that's high profit, because it is expensive to use. You can use it on, I wouldn't use it on Slayer or anything cheap like that. But yeah, we're going to wait for this update to go live, and then we're going to test the Amulet of Blood Fury in all the different locations. And hopefully we'll sell all these for about 12 mil each, so we should make some bank today. The big goal for the end of the day is to get the Inquisitor's Mace. This is like my cash stack at the minute, and it's currently trading at 850 mil, so we will need to get at least one Nightmare drop. But I think Nightmare is going to be super easy after this update, and yeah, you guys can come for the journey and see how easy it is. Right, as soon as the update goes live, I'm going to solo a Nightmare of Ashiyama using this Blood Fury, but mine's actually really low on charges. I've been using it at the 1% and it's pretty good. It gives you like 20 HP every fight. Now it's going to be times 6, so you're going to get over 120 HP. That's in a 5-man team actually. In a solo, you're going to get over 300 HP per fight, which is just broken. That's like 15 extra sharks every single fight just by wearing this Fury, and you only lose like 2% DPS. But because you brew, if you don't have this thing on, it's actually less than 2%. You pretty much don't lose any DPS by wearing a Blood Fury because you no longer need food. You'll get more attacks in throughout the fight, if that makes sense. And it's going to be safer and all, so yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. I'm leaving all my Blood Furies in G at 15 mil each, apart from the one I've actually got 2 in the bank that I'm going to be using. I don't expect them to get up to 15 mil, they'll probably get up to 12, but just in case, I'm going to leave them all in there. It is a new item and it's the most game breaking item that's been put into the game that I've ever seen actually. This year's like Soul Split, except Soul Split had drawbacks like you lost prayer points. Soul Split was 10% by the way in RS3, and it was used all over the place at loads and loads of bosses. It was a really high level prayer in RuneScape 3 that give you back 10% of your health from the damage you deal, but you lost prayer points. It was really high. I think it was like 92 or 95 prayer you needed. You need a load of quests. There was loads of drawbacks. There was no real drawbacks of wearing a Blood Fury apart from it costing a wee bit of money. But if you use it at the big bosses that make loads of money, there is no drawbacks really. Here it is, boys, the update is finally live. There was actually a 40-minute delay there on the update that I didn't see coming, so I've just been twiddling my thumbs for the past 40 minutes, but we are finally into the game. I thought the best way to showcase the Blood Fury would be to attempt to kill the hardest boss in the game, or one of the hardest, solo with no food. So I do have food in my inventory, but I thought just to showcase it, we'll have a crack without using the food. But I forgot that I'm a big massive noob and took 2 big massive hits in phase 1, a 36 and a 49. Left me down in 6 HP, but I was convinced I wasn't going to use food, so I used a bit of redemption, which is kind of cheating anyway, but I just thought if I don't use it I'm going to die. So yeah, we didn't use any food anyway, we just used a wee bit of prayer to get the old redemption heal off, and then we cracked on with the fight. So yeah, we got her down to like 500 HP using 1 redemption, and then tried again when I was really low, but messed it up. Put my prey mage off too soon and got slapped. Second attempt we're going to concentrate and we'll not take any hits, and let's see how this thing really performs. So here it is, attempt number 2. I have sped it up to times 10 because Nightmare solos are just incredibly slow and I don't want you guys having to sit through the entirety of that. But look at my HP, it just keeps going back up. No food used and I'm sitting pretty much at 99 HP the entire fight. Every time she slaps me down, for any of you guys who don't know actually, phase 1 you take the most damage if you're solo, because she spawns in 2 husks that immediately attack you and usually do a little bit of damage. So if you're solo in phase 1 you take a load of damage, the next 2 phases not as much damage, but phase 2 is really annoying. But have a look at that, phase 1 completed, no SGS specs, no redemption, no nothing. 0 food used, and I'm at 91 HP. That's crazy. One of the hardest bosses in the game, slapped her through the phase where you take the most damage without any food. That's just awesome. Like, this thing is crazy, and I'm not in max DPS by the way, I'm just in like the medium setup, the cheapest. It's not really cheap though. In the bludgeon setup, not the mace or the inquisitors or anything like that. My fury did get down to like 13 charges, and unfortunately it ran out in phase 2 when I was in the middle of like dodging some of her attacks and I stepped under her. And yeah, there's a warning when you try to put a shard onto Fury, and that just pretty much killed me. Not to worry though, so we headed out with our boy Hammond, we completed a full duo, and we only used like 2 brews, but I was completely messing up all the time, and that's why I used 2 brews. If I had to have my prayers right the entire fight, probably would have used like 1 brew at the most in a duo, which is really good. So decided 1 brew, that's pretty much a couple of Zardome and Godsword specs. I could probably just solo indefinitely with no food if I had this Blood Fury and the SGS. So we head over to G, sold a couple of our massive stack of shards. Had a bit of a loss, which was really strange. After the update the shards went down instead up, which is crazy. I was expecting them to skyrocket, but I think what's happened is because there was like 3 weeks between when they announced the update to now, there's been a massive supply built up. Actually, this isn't what I think happened, it's what happened, because you can actually see it in the GE history. I'll post it in the screen here. 5,800 people traded them day 1, and then I'm a day later than news when I'm making this audio, so day 2 there was only like 3,600. But yeah, there's a massive supply of blood shards in the GE, and all them will have to get used up before the price stabilizes, so they have dropped massively after the update, which is not good for me wanting to buy a mace. But anyway, got the SGS, and have a look at this for crazy. 0 foods used, an entire kill. It was a quad kill, so it was much faster, and I did have the SGS, but no foods, even though I messed up like 2 or 3 times, took loads of damage. If you hit an SGS spec and it triggers with the Blood Fury, which is like a 20% chance of happening, it heals you 80% instead of 50%, I think, the SGS. Yeah, the 30% stacks with the SGS, so you can just get a crazy heal, especially on the wee dudes in the middle that you have to roll a max hit on, no, the walkers. That's our first kill without banking, no food used. Here's our second one. I did use 1 brew, but that is basically because I'm not that good, and I'm the tank. I'm taking more like melee hits and all. If you're perfect with your switches or you're paying full attention, you will not use any foods. With this DPS, with this Zardome and Godsword, which is crazy. I actually give away a brew here, just want to show you that before the next clip, so you know, like, I haven't used as much food, you know, because I've got so much supplies left after 2 kills. That, yeah, it's just mad. I'm actually using Divine Super Combats as well, which I didn't used to use before this update, because the minus 10 HP for that, like, your stats staying maxed out, you know, it gives you higher DPS, and the minus 10 doesn't really matter, you just heal it back up within a few hits, which is class. Like there I'm on 79, go up to 87, here 72 up to 81. You just get like 8s and 9s. I think the highest you can get if you roll it on a max hit in this gear is like a 13 heal, which is crazy. It's like a boss just from doing nothing, just from attacking them. A few of the boys dropped out. I did use up all my supplies on that trip, but then I managed to get 7 brew drops. So we'll just carry on with this trip, see how many we can kill. But yeah, this is crazy at the Nightmare of Ashiyama. If you're just learning, this makes it so much easier for you guys. If you're just learning all the tactics, having an extra like 15 sharks throughout a fight, just insane how much easier it is compared to before, where you'd usually like get hit down below 60 and then if you mess up you can die. In this here you can keep your health above 60 all the time because there's so much of a big gap between her hitting you down from 99 to getting you onto that stage where she can one hit you. Just means it's nearly impossible to die if you eat your foods and have the Blood Fury on and don't go under 80 HP or get hit twice in a row. You could still die obviously, but it's just much harder. Perfect for learners. So I completed a full 5 kill trip there whilst giving away supplies with some learners, and one of the kills in the middle was pretty much a duo, and it was really AFK, so decided why not test this and see how AFK you can make it. So I wanted to try a full kill here. Unfortunately I don't have the mace, or this would actually be a really good setup, but I wanted to try a full kill just praying mage, so I'd be tanking most of, if not all of the melee hits, and I'd be tanking all of the range hits. This way you'd pretty much be semi-AFK Nightmare. You'd only have to dodge every 6th attack, which would be either a floor attack, husks, or moving into the wee green squares, you know. So we had a crack at this, and it went pretty good, but you definitely need higher DPS for it to work. So what I mean by higher DPS is definitely the mace. The mace is 25% more DPS than the Hasta. So if you had that, that'd be 25% more heals, 25% quicker kills and phases and all, so you wouldn't take as much damage as I do here in phase 1. But with this Hasta, I was still healing up a load, I was doing a bit of damage, it was very, very slow, so as the phase goes on, you use more food. If you had more DPS, you would not use anywhere near as much as me, and you'd heal more. This here for a duo would be insane, because you just never need to switch your prayers, because the phases go so fast. In a proper team, if you want to be a perfect tank, you could do this, although your DPS is much lower, so it will be slower kills, but it's also just really, really chilled, like you don't really need to do much. Anyway, that's just me testing phase 1 at the Nightmare in full tank gear. I used I think 2.5 brews, maybe 3 brews here, and that's full phase 1 complete. You can semi-AFK the entire kills, but it takes too long. I decided to bail here just because I want to test it at other places, but as you can see there, use like 1 restore, 2 brews, and we're full HP and the phase is over. So I will come back here later on, I'm going to be smashing the Nightmare for ages, but I've been having a look at these stats and they are insane. It's like Guthans, but with double all the stats and you still heal because you've got the Blood Fury on. So I thought if I can heal up in insane tank gear, I may as well head over and test it at somewhere that's pretty crazy that nobody brings melee to. So we headed straight over to the Inferno, we stopped by Nightmare Zone and got the Ring of Suffering imbued, and have a look at this range defense. It's pretty crazy. It will actually be higher when I put the Bulwark on, but 478 range defense. I could have went with a Crystal Shield. Oh sorry, I wasn't paying attention there. We'll restart this in a second because them nibblers are going to wreck that pillar. But yeah, if we put on the Bulwark, it goes up to over 550, which is just crazy. The Rangers are never going to hit us. We're going to be praying Mage, so the Mages won't hit us. I don't think the melee will hit us either when we've got like plus 550. And anything that does hit us, we can just heal back up with the Blood Fury. So we've got really, really tanky gear and unlimited food. How far do you think we can make it in the Inferno with no mage gear, no range gear, and pretty much just using melee for every single wave? What's your guesses? I might use the odd spell, like you need to barrage the nibblers at the start of a wave. Probably need to ping the odd monster with a crossbow, but most of the time, I'd say 90% of this attempt we're going to do with melee. I think we're going to make it pretty far, but let's get going. So this here is the first really annoying monster in the Inferno. People call it the Blob. It switches between mage and range attacks, and usually you need to pray flick right or it'll deal loads of damage and wreck you. This is what kills learners usually, but have a look at this. It just does not hit when you're in this gear. If you're praying mage, it will always use its range attack over and over and over, and we're such a tank that the range attack does absolutely nothing. If he does hit any damage on us, we can just heal up as well, so that's going to be super easy. So when you see me jump into this Inferno, you probably thought it was a joke and it wouldn't make it very far, but I have a pretty much magic trick for the Inferno. For any of you who've seen my attempts before, you've probably noticed it in my inventory there. The Dim's Bulwark in the Inferno, you'll never see this in a guide, at least I've never seen it in any of the Inferno guides. But a couple of months ago I tried this for the first time ever without the Blood Fury and it was insane. Basically you can 100% guarantee to make it through wave 1 to 68 in the Inferno. All you need to work out if you use this gear is how to deal with the triple Jads and Zuck, and you have yourself the cape, which is pretty cool. So how this works is you start the final waves, the hard waves that have loads of monsters on them. You start it with a special attack over 50%, the Dim's Bulwark equipped, on attack style, don't have it in block or else you can't hit anything. Full Justice Shower, full tank gear. Now you're starting the wave nearly invincible, you've got plus 550 in most stats, but you use the Dim's Bulwark special attack in the nibblers. It is an AoE attack that can hit 11 by 11 squares. So to put that into context, Barrage, Chins, all their kind of AoE damage is 3b3. This is 11 by 11. It's over 3 times bigger. It hits almost everything in the room. It's about quarter the size of the room, so anything that's walked towards you, it will hit. And now when you combo that with the Blood Fury, it means you have like a 90% chance to heal with that initial special attack. It means you're invincible at the start of every single wave when most people mess up. So yeah, this here method will get you from wave 1 to 68 of the Inferno every single time if you like wait for special attacks every go. So we're going to jump forward through all these easy waves at the start and then we'll show you that how it works. So here it is, waves are starting to get pretty juicy. There's loads of monsters in every single wave now that attacks me with multiple styles. Starting the waves at like 50 HP, they're attacking me with range, but they're just not going to hit because I'm a massive tank. The special attack with its AoE effect deals with all the nibblers really quick, which is perfect. And there, that's that wave complete, on to the next one. Remember I was saying don't put your Bulwark in block? You actually can use block in the Inferno when you're moving from pillar to pillar. It just means you'll take 20% less damage again, so having the option to put it in block is pretty cool when you're changing position. But in this wave I forgot to put it back off block onto the attack style, and there's a delay when you move it from one to the other. So these nibblers done loads of damage to this pillar here in wave 16 just because it didn't have the right stance. Make sure you put your bulwark back onto attack, but there's that wave pretty much sorted. As soon as you deal with the nibblers, the rest of the waves are usually pretty easy. You can just pick the monsters off one by one. Oh yeah, you're probably wondering how I'm dealing with these big dudes in the Inferno whenever they come up. So there's big ones that use both range and melee, and you probably don't want to get hit by them when you don't have to. Basically all you need to do is hit them and step back 3 tiles and then hit them again. They're in the same attack cycle as the Hasta, so you can just do this over and over and over and they'd never hit you with melee. You can do it to both the ranger and the mages later on, so yeah, super easy. I would try to keep my HP above 60, I think might be the max that these ones can hit. It's probably way less with the Justiciar Soak, let's be honest. It's probably 40, so keep your HP above 40 and these things just won't be able to one-shot you with melee. But yeah, you can deal with them with the Hasta, it's no problem at all. Oh yeah, for any of you guys wondering what my stats look like when I'm wearing the bulwark at the start of the fight, this is it. I'd be praying mage and all my other stats are well over 500. Good luck to those monsters trying to hit on this. It soaks like 19% of the damage, like removes maybe 18 or 19% off their max hit. And yeah, their accuracy is going to be like 1 to 5%. They will still hit the odd time, but you'll just heal up. But most of the time they're just never going to hit you. I'm just going to show you the start of like 10 waves, just rush through them here because we're going to go quite far in. But yeah, you just spec them, it kills most of the nibblers. If it doesn't kill them all, you can just hit the last one, you know, straight after, finish him off. You might get 1, maybe 2 hits in if you like miss, maybe even 3 actually, but the pillars have loads of health. The nibblers don't hit much if there's only 1 alive. There I got hit like 4 times in a row by this here ranger, but it was just 4 zeros, not to worry. I should make an Inferno guide or something because this is just too easy. I don't know why people like worry about the Inferno. Well, I can't really say it's super easy when I don't even have the Inferno cape. I've never completed triple jazz, but I've only actually got there once. And then it was like, oh, this is easy, I'll come back and do it some other time in the future. But yeah, this is super easy. You take no damage, you just flinch the monsters one by one. There's wave 29 completed. You just kill the nibblers, deal with them one by one. There's wave 30, 31. Whacked out a couple of phases. Now you're probably thinking here when this mage spawns, and every wave after this is going to be much harder because there's a big mage, you know? But because you start the wave with prey mage on, these things are actually going to do 0 damage. So you can just range them last if you want, but they do respawn the other monsters, so it'll be good to kill them first. Or you can just melee them. You just do that same hit step back method. They'll never hit you with melee. If you're good at it, maybe they will if you mess up. So keep your HP high and yeah, just flinch them, no problems at all. We jump forward 15 waves there to wave 51. Pretty much nothing happens in those waves because there's just a mage and then a load of easy monsters. But now we do have the ranger again, but yeah, he does not hit anywhere near 99 HP in you every time. So you can just lure your boys and kill them one by one, which is awesome. Have been using a couple of bolts there. You see I've went down 130 I think I've used. I've just been ranging these here boys, not prey flicking, not nothing. I did not know this, but Justiciar, right, has plus 10 prayer bonus. It's really bad for range. It's got really negative range stats, so it's not good to use with range. Wish I had brought like a Hasta or something. Not a Hasta, what's that long range one? A Halbert. Then I could have just AFK flinched these dudes, which would have been pretty cool. But yeah, you have really high prayer bonus in this gear. The Hasta also has plus 2 prayer bonus, so you get like plus 12 when you're wearing the like tank DPS stuff. Just means your supplies would last easily up to wave 68. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, if you brought in Eldritch Nightmare Staff for the special attacks, you'd have unlimited prayer, and then the Blood Fury would be unlimited food. So unlimited prayer and unlimited food in the Inferno. That's pretty strong. There's 5 more waves out of the way, up to wave 56, super easy, no problems at all. Actually got really cocky and starting the waves in like 60 HP or lower, just because I know you get a big heal at the start of the wave from this special attack. It's probably not a good idea to sit at low HP in the final few waves of the Inferno. I think there's only like 12 waves left until Zuck. But yeah, here I could have died. I got hit by the ranger, which is really rare. He doesn't hit that often, for 27, and the mage hit, on the melee, sorry, hit me for 14. 30 HP, but everything's safe spotted, so you can just heal up. It's not really a problem. Now I know some of you guys watching this probably have Inferno capes and think I'm a massive noob, but this here is bound to be good. Like the first 68 waves of the Inferno are super easy. Not taking much damage, not having a prey flick, just attack the nibblers, tank a few hits, and then deal with everything else. If this isn't the best way to do the Inferno, I don't know what is. Well, actually, you could get good at the game and do all the prey flicks and all, but that takes time and effort. This way you just prey mage and yeah, super easy. I actually lost one of the pillars in wave 61. That was because I just didn't pay attention 2 waves before and the nibblers done a load of damage to it. I'd killed 2 of them, I thought they were all dead, and then I ran over here behind the other pillar. A lot of what this tactic is running from one pillar to the other with the bulwark on block, you know, because then you take very little damage and it lures all the monsters, so then you can deal with them one by one. The melee will teleport to you. But because I didn't have the other pillar to do that, I kind of panicked here. It's like, oh shit, what am I going to do now? So just pick these boys off one by one. I did get hit down to like 12 HP or something. And I was a wee bit panicky here. I didn't have my DFS on, so the melee one does hit me because my prayer flicks are terrible. That's why usually I'd think the Inferno is quite hard because I'm not good at prey flicking. But you can probably do the entire thing without prey flicking if you just use a few foods, or if you just take your time and use a load of SGS specs. I didn't reserve any supplies in this run at all. I just like went through it. And what are we on? 61. We get through this wave. I did have to use 2 sips of brew, but then he's dead. You do still hit with the range and all if you're in full Justicar, which is quite nice. But yeah, then we done the next wave as well. This here is like one of the final waves in the Inferno, and look how easy this is. I killed 4 of the monsters with the initial special attack because that box is so high, and then I was able to just hit this dude with the bulwark. The bulwark's actually not a bad melee weapon while you're tanking everything else. And then we just shot down the other bat and just dealt with everything one by one. Super easy wave, but then it brings us to the final wave. So the start of the final wave is perfect, killed all of the nibblers in one special attack. This is pretty normal enough to happen. The bulwark healed me up to 83 as well. If I started this wave with more HP, which you can do, just be clicking log out in the last one, it'd be fine. If I had stood in the middle for 1 second longer to pull the melee dude around the south side of this pillar, probably would have been okay. It would have given me enough time to kind of deal with this dude. Or to kill something off anyway. But yeah, flicking between a blob and a melee, I'm not sure how you're supposed to do this because the blob attacks with mage and range. If you're not praying one of the two, it just kind of guesses one and fires a ball at you. We have really low mage defense, so I kind of want to be praying mage, but then melee is pretty accurate as well. Not very accurate in this gear, but it does hit the odd time. So yeah, we messed up, we took too much damage, we didn't bring in the right supplies, but we still made it to wave 63. That is only 4 waves away from the first Jad, 5 waves off the triple Jads, and 6 waves off the Infernal Cape with melee 90% of that run. That's crazy. Like, I have to get back in here with some proper gear because there's no chance we won't make it to the final waves, but I'm just shocked how good this setup is. Look at me looking like an absolute boss. Got together with a load of boys from the CC in fun gear, naked Nightmare of Ashihama, just to see how good this Fury is. Ignore Lion at the far end of the screen there, he didn't get the memo, but he does go down pretty quickly. And yeah, we managed to complete a full kill with really bad gear that gives no stats, and at the start of this clip I had 11 brews. At the end I still have 8, so you could actually do multiple kill trips with no armor at the Nightmare of Ashihama, just healing up with the Blood Fury, SGS specs and Sangrelini staff. If you have multiple ways to heal, it just makes this boss pretty chilled, you know, pretty easy. Anyway, this video is crazy long, so for any of you guys who made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Having a blast testing this new Blood Fury. I have lost an absolute fortune. I think I lost 110 mil in the previous video doing those crystal armor tops. I've lost more in this video just because the blood shard has crashed so much. But yeah, completed a kill. Unfortunately we didn't get an item in that one. It would have been hilarious getting an item in this gear. Blood shard is currently trading at 6.5 mil, which is crazy cheap. I think it will go back up, but yeah, I've lost so much in holding these things. It's because there was a massive supply. I never really factored that in. I just thought, oh, because it's going to be so good, and it is crazy good, that it'd fly up in price. But because there's so many of them in the game, I don't think it will fly up in price. I think I'll slowly get rid of some of these here shards. But instead of being really close to the Inquisitor's Mace, which I wanted to be, and it was like 3 videos ago, now I'm like a couple of 100 mil off because of the last 2 videos. But that's fine, we'll get there eventually. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to be grinding out some Nightmare, get myself up closer to that Inquisitor's Mace for the next video. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I still have loads and loads of clips of me testing this Blood Fury at different places, but I just don't want to make a crazy long video. So yeah, I'll catch you guys very soon, and thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye!